What if the most profound discovery in human history was made, and then deliberately buried? We're not talking about rumors or grainy photos here. We're talking about 24 gigabytes of classified NASA data on an interstellar visitor that, honestly, defied the laws of physics. Data leaked by a ghost-like hacker group revealing a 26-kilometer-wide object that wasn't just passing through our solar system but actually, actively navigating it. This is the story of 3I ATLAS, what NASA allegedly found and why they never wanted you to see it. So let's delve into the data. Event Horizon cyber attack. So how does a clandestine group get its hands on NASA's crown jewels? According to the leaked security logs, this wasn't a brute force attack, it was surgical. In the early hours of September 2, 2025, Event Horizon executed a coordinated cyber attack that bypassed multiple layers of agency firewalls. They exploited a zero-day vulnerability in an outdated Fortran-based mission planning module, which honestly was just a tiny crack in an otherwise formidable digital fortress. The transfer rate was a blistering 571 megabits per second, far too fast for automated security flags to catch in time. Forensic analysts later pieced together a chilling timeline. The attackers gained initial access at 3:14 a.m. Eastern, escalated their privileges to the highest level by 3:19, and began siphoning data at 3:23. In under 7 minutes, 24 gigabytes of compressed files, including internal chat logs, draft reports, and sensitive telemetry from the 3I ATLAS intercept mission, were gone. By 3:30 a.m., the connection vanished, leaving behind nothing but a silent gap in the audit trail. Cybersecurity expert Mikko Hyppönen has stated that such an attack would require nation-state-level resources, suggesting Event Horizon is far more sophisticated than a typical hacktivist group. The manifesto and distribution. A data breach is one thing, but a declaration of war on secrecy is another. Within hours of the hack, a manifesto from Event Horizon appeared on encrypted forums. Their message wasn't a boast, it was a justification. They claimed the breach was a direct response to what they termed unlawful cosmic secrecy, arguing that discoveries of this magnitude belong to humanity, not to a select few government agencies. The manifesto warned that the stolen files contained information so sensitive even senior directors at NASA were allegedly unaware of its full scope. Their language was direct: the world deserves to know what its own scientists have found. To prove their point, they began a strategic distribution campaign. Blurred screenshots and heavily redacted memos were sent to journalists and channels known for covering classified science. They specifically avoided mainstream outlets, opting for platforms that would analyze the data without an institutional filter. This drip feed of information created a groundswell of speculation that legacy media couldn't ignore, forcing the conversation into the open on Event Horizon's terms. Authenticating the documents. In the world of leaks, authenticity is paramount, so are these files real? The evidence presented by Event Horizon is compellingly layered. The leaked screenshots are plastered with authentic details: bold, block-lettered confidential stamps, thick redaction blocks, and metadata tags showing UTC timestamps that perfectly match the breach window from NASA's own security audit. We see mission patch artwork in the corners, a stylized comet labeled 3I ATLAS int. Every document carries unique identifiers, routing codes, and internal chat handles you'd expect to see inside a major agency. Technical diagrams and draft tables use Courier font headers and bear NASA's internal digital watermark. We even see screenshots of the classic blue and white NASA email interface with subject lines like Atlas Intercept Immediate Action Required and Telemetry Review Anomaly Detected. One partially blurred memo lists technical trajectory data, while another redacted report is marked with the access level TSSCI, denoting top secret, sensitive, compartmented information, a classification that restricts access to a small, specific group of cleared individuals. The documents bear digital signature strings ending in JPL for the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and GSFC for the Goddard Space Flight Center, indicating a multi-center collaboration. Discovery of 3I ATLAS. Before the leak, there was the discovery that started it all. On July 1, 2025, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, ATLAS survey in Hawaii, logged a new object tearing into the solar system at 130,000 miles per hour. Astronomers flagged it immediately. This was no ordinary comet. The object, soon labeled 3I ATLAS, measured an estimated 26 kilometers across, roughly the size of Manhattan, moving faster than any object ever observed inside the orbit of Jupiter. Veteran survey scientist Dr. Lina Takahashi, a fictional name from the leaked files, was quoted in a log. The track was so steep the software flagged it as an error. Within hours, observatories from Chile to Arizona confirmed the numbers. The object's incoming speed of over 58 kilometers per second defied the sun's gravitational grip. Its trajectory pointed back toward the constellation Lyra, far from the ecliptic plane where most solar system debris resides. To put its size in perspective, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was only about 10 kilometers wide. This was over twice that, and it wasn't from around here. Impossible physics and trajectory. Here's where the story takes a sharp turn from unusual to unbelievable. Like its predecessor Oumuamua, 3I Atlas was not behaving according to the laws of physics. The leaked mission logs from July 18, 2025, show a sudden, inexplicable sideways acceleration resulting in a velocity change, or delta V, of 1.5 meters per second. The object changed course in a way that defied gravitational models. For a normal comet, such a deviation could be explained by outgassing, measured by the non-gravitational acceleration parameter A2. However, just like with Oumuamua, initial observations of 3I Atlas showed no cometary tail, no dust and no gas coma to account for the push. Its A2 parameter was effectively zero, yet it was still maneuvering. Trajectory analysts were stumped. They ran models accounting for solar radiation pressure, gravitational pulls from planets, and every known natural force. Nothing matched the telemetry. Dr. Amy Mainzer, a leading expert on asteroids, has noted that explaining such a deviation without observable outgassing requires exotic physics or an artificial origin. The numbers kept pointing to a single, unsettling conclusion. Some force other than gravity was steering this massive object through our solar system. Surface anomalies. The armor problem. What does a 26-kilometer object from another star system look like? The first leaked images from the Intercept mission were paradigm-shattering. 3I Atlas's surface resembled no comet on file. Imaging analysts flagged a pattern of smooth, almost metallic-looking plating, broken by lines that ran too straight to be natural fractures. One analyst, quoted in a redacted chat log, called it the radiator problem, referring to a gridwork of raised ridges spaced like the cooling fins on spacecraft. These ribs cast long, uniform shadows, and their regularity caused the anomaly detection software to flag the pattern as artificial. Comparisons to known comets like Halley or 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko fell apart. Their surfaces are jagged and chaotic. 3I Atlas, in contrast, had long stretches that reflected sunlight like polished alloy. Further spectral analysis of this reflected light showed an albedo inconsistent with any known meteoritic iron, lacking the usual chondritic features. It was too smooth, too reflective, and far too structured. Thermal signatures and heat pulses. If the surface looked engineered, the thermal data was even more alarming. According to the leaked files, infrared arrays recorded heat vents pulsing with incredible regularity. The logs show heat pooling along the strange ribbed seams, and then bursting outward in tight, directed jets. This wasn't the broad, chaotic outgassing you see in a typical comet. These were discrete, timed pulses occurring precisely every 90 seconds, raising local surface temperatures by over 200 degrees Kelvin in an instant. The mission logs classified this as a directive motion event, a term typically reserved for spacecraft thrusters, not natural phenomena. Even more damning, trajectory analysts correlated these thermal pulses directly with the object's mysterious course corrections. After each 90-second heat burst, the Intercept team logged a subtle but precise shift in its path. The efficiency of this propulsion, measured as specific impulse, was calculated to be far beyond any chemical rocket, consistent with advanced ion or plasma thrusters. Gravity couldn't explain it, solar radiation is constant, and natural outgassing is random. The evidence was building 3. I Atlas wasn't just moving strangely, it appeared to be actively propelling itself. Chemical composition mysteries. The mystery only deepens when you look at what 3I Atlas was made of. Martin Cordner's team at Goddard was the first to get a full spectrum after the Intercept, and the results were an instant red flag. The early spectra lit up with incredibly sharp, bright lines of nickel. In cosmic bodies, nickel almost always rides shotgun with iron. Yet in every single frame of data from 3I Atlas, iron was almost completely absent. Its signature spectral lines were missing. This isn't just rare. In the entire catalog of known comets and asteroids, it's unheard of. The natural formation processes that create asteroids from protoplanetary disks simply don't separate these two elements with such purity. Leaked notes suggest the isotopic ratio of the nickel was also wrong, indicating it wasn't formed in a typical supernova. The purity level was estimated to be over 99.8%, a level that on Earth requires an advanced electrochemical process known as the Mond process. Radio echoes and communication patterns. Beyond its motion and materials, the most chilling evidence in the leaked files points toward active technology. According to the logs, radio astronomers reviewing raw data from the Intercept mission flagged a pattern of faint, repeating echoes in the X-band frequency range. These weren't natural radio bursts or cosmic static, they were precise, clipped signals with a high signal-to-noise ratio, bouncing back from JRE and ATLAS at regular intervals. What made this truly shocking was the timing. The interval of the radio echoes mapped almost perfectly to the 90-second rhythm of the object's thermal pulses. It was as if something was pinging the object, and the heat pulses were the response. In one of the leaked chat logs, a veteran telemetry specialist reportedly wrote, "It's like someone is pinging the probe and it's answering. The pattern is too tight for random noise." This completely changed the nature of the investigation. SETI pioneer Dr. Jill Tarter has long argued that a truly intelligent signal would likely be efficient and information-dense, characteristics that align with these alleged repeating echoes. The data suggested it could be an active, responsive probe. Expert analysis and propulsion theory. You can't discuss these anomalies without bringing in a voice of scientific courage like Avi Loeb. The Harvard astrophysicist, who famously staked his reputation on Oumuamua being alien technology, wasted no time weighing in on the JRE and ATLAS files. He argued the intercepted telemetry read like a blueprint for an advanced propulsion system. Each 90-second heat pulse and corresponding course correction was perfectly consistent with a massive ion drive or a similar engine. In Loeb's words, if you wanted to navigate through a solar system while managing heat and energy, you would use timed, directional thrust. That is what the data shows. But the most jarring evidence was a fragment recovered by the interceptor's dust collector. A leaked lab memo described a fleck of material with a lattice of silicon and doped phosphorus, arranged in layers spaced at micron intervals. The structure was noted as being radiation-hardened to a degree far beyond current human capability, suggesting it was built for long-duration travel through the harsh interstellar medium. This wasn't just a circuit, it was an artifact from a civilization far beyond our own. So, what do we make of all this? A 26-kilometer object from another star system, moving at impossible speeds, making its own course corrections. It has a surface that looks like armor, a composition of refined nickel, and it pulses with heat and radio echoes on a perfect 90-second clock. And finally, there's a fragment of what appears to be a microchip. The leaked files, if authentic, present a disturbing and profound reality. The questions are staggering. What is this object's purpose? Where did it come from? And perhaps most importantly, what else has NASA found that we don't know about? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the secrets of science and technology. Thanks for watching Simply Science. Venus and Earth were born as twins, same size, same rocky composition, orbiting the same star. But while Earth became a blue paradise teeming with life, Venus transformed into a 900-degree hellscape where it literally rains sulfuric acid, and the atmospheric pressure could crush a submarine. The Soviet Union spent 25 years and launched 16 missions to uncover what went so catastrophically wrong on our planetary twin. But here's the shocking part. Soviet scientists may have discovered that Venus wasn't always a hell world. Did you know that Venus might have had oceans for 2 billion years before becoming the inferno we see today? The Soviet obsession begins. While America dreamed of the moon, the Soviet Union set its sights on something far more mysterious. Venus, our planet's twin wrapped in sulfuric acid clouds. In 1961, just as Yuri Gagarin orbited Earth, Soviet scientists were already plotting humanity's first interplanetary conquest. But Venus wasn't just another space race prize, it was personal. Chief designer Sergei Korolev believed Venus held secrets that could revolutionize our understanding of planetary evolution. The Cold War wasn't just about nuclear missiles anymore, it was about who could touch another world first. The obsession began with a simple question: what lay beneath those impenetrable clouds? Early Soviet astronomers theorized Venus might harbor life, perhaps even advanced civilizations hidden beneath its mysterious atmosphere. This wasn't science fiction, this was serious Soviet space policy. Korolev's design bureau started developing the Venera program in 1960, dedicating massive resources to cracking Venus's secrets. Unlike the Americans who focused on lunar missions, the Soviets chose the harder target. Venus was closer sometimes, but its hostile environment made it infinitely more challenging. The Soviet Academy of Sciences committed to not just flying by Venus, but actually landing on its surface, something no nation had ever attempted on any planet. This ambitious goal would define Soviet space exploration for the next 3 decades. Early failures and determination. 7 failures in a row would crush most space programs, but the Soviet Union treated each disaster as a stepping stone to Venus. Between 1961 and 1965, every single Venera mission ended in catastrophe. Rockets exploded, spacecraft went silent, and communication systems failed millions of miles from Earth. Venera 1 launched on February 12, 1961, only to lose contact 7 days later, drifting helplessly through space like a cosmic ghost. The engineers at OKB-1 worked around the clock, rebuilding, redesigning, and refusing to surrender. Sergei Korolev faced mounting pressure from the Politburo to abandon Venus and focus on lunar missions like the Americans. But the chief designer had a vision that went beyond political victories. He wanted to prove Soviet technology could conquer the most hostile environment in the solar system. Each failure taught them something crucial. Venera 2 and Venera 3 in 1965 both lost communication during their 106-day journey, but they confirmed that Soviet spacecraft could survive the brutal voyage to Venus. The real breakthrough came from analyzing what went wrong. Overheating electronics, communication blackouts, and navigation errors weren't just technical problems, they were puzzles to solve. Venera 3 actually crash-landed on Venus on March 1, 1966, making it the first human-made object to reach another planet's surface, even though it was already dead on arrival. This successful failure energized the entire program and proved that reaching Venus wasn't impossible. It just required Soviet stubbornness and engineering brilliance. First atmospheric success. The moment came when Soviet engineers broke through Venus's shrouded veil. Venera 4 didn't just fly past, it plunged right into the planet's atmosphere and spoke back. Launched on October 18, 1967, this daring probe braved blistering heat, crushing pressure, and corrosive clouds for nearly an hour of live data transmission. As Venera 4 descended, its suite of sensors measured temperature, pressure, and chemical composition, revealing a dense carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere with layers of nitrogen and traces of oxygen that shattered prevailing theories of a lush, life-friendly world. Back in Moscow, the room fell silent as telemetry streamed in. Surface pressure hovered around 22 atmospheres, and temperatures soared near 530 degrees Celsius, confirming that Venus was a hellscape rather than a habitable twin. Chief designer Vasily Mishin and his team pored over every kilobyte of data, realizing they had to overhaul heat shielding and instrument cooling for future landers. Yet the true victory wasn't just data. It was proof that Soviet hardware could endure Venus's brutal descent long enough to send home critical science. This atmospheric triumph re-energized the Venera program, validating years of trial, error, and unwavering resolve. The next missions would build on Venera 4's lessons, improving electronics insulation and parachute design to survive even longer. For the first time, humanity saw Venus through Soviet eyes, not as a mythical Eden, but as a ruthless world demanding respect. And with that revelation, the race to conquer Venus transformed from hopeful fantasy into an engineering odyssey. Landing on Venus. Well, the impossible became reality when metal finally met molten rock on another world. Venera 7 achieved humanity's very first successful planetary landing on December 15, 1970, transmitting from Venus's surface for 23 precious minutes before the hellish environment claimed yet another Soviet probe. This wasn't just a landing, it was a declaration that Soviet engineering could, conquer the most hostile planet in our solar system. The spacecraft endured crushing 90 atmosphere pressure and surface temperatures of 475 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, while sending back temperature and pressure readings that, honestly, rewrote planetary science textbooks. Chief designer Georgy Babakin and his team had to redesign everything after Venera 4's atmospheric success. They strengthened the heat shield, improved the cooling systems, and created a spherical landing capsule that could survive impact velocities of 17 meters per second. The Soviet Academy of Sciences held its breath as weak signals trickled back from the surface, proof that a human-made object was, against all odds, functioning on another planet's hostile ground. But Venera 7 was just the beginning of Soviet surface domination. The mission validated critical technologies for future landers, and proved that Venus's surface conditions, while extreme, weren't insurmountable barriers to exploration. Venera 8 followed in 1972, lasting 50 minutes on the surface and measuring light levels, confirming that photography might actually be possible despite the thick atmospheric shroud. These groundbreaking landings established the Soviet Union as the undisputed master of Venus exploration, setting the stage for even more ambitious missions that would soon capture the first images from another world's surface. First images from another world. History was truly shattered when grainy black and white pixels revealed the alien landscape of Venus. Venera 9 didn't just land successfully on October 22, 1975, it became humanity's first photographer on another planet, transmitting images that absolutely stunned scientists worldwide. The panoramic view showed a rocky, boulder-strewn surface, illuminated by an eerie orange glow filtering through Venus's dense atmosphere, proving that despite the hellish conditions, the surface was surprisingly well lit and, wow, geologically active. Chief designer Georgy Babakin's team had achieved the impossible by designing cameras that could survive 462 degrees Celsius temperatures and 90 atmosphere pressure for over 53 minutes. The images revealed flat rocks scattered across the landing site, suggesting recent volcanic activity and, challenging theories about Venus being a completely molten world. Venera 10 landed just 3 days later on October 25, capturing additional surface photographs from a different location, showing a more mountainous terrain with older, weathered rocks. These groundbreaking images transformed Venus from an abstract scientific target into a real, tangible world that humans could actually see. The Soviet Academy of Sciences released the photographs globally, marking the first time any nation had successfully photographed another planet's surface. Both landers operated far beyond their designed lifespans, with Venera 9 transmitting for 53 minutes and Venera 10 lasting 65 minutes on the surface. The success of these photographic missions established the Soviet Union as the undisputed leader in planetary surface exploration, proving that even the most hostile environments couldn't stop human ingenuity and Soviet determination. The pinnacle missions. Soviet ambition reached, unprecedented heights when Venera 13 and Venera 14 landed within 4 days of each other in March 1982, delivering the most spectacular achievement in planetary exploration: the first color photographs and sound recordings from another world's surface. These twin missions represented the absolute peak of Soviet Venus mastery, with each lander surviving over 2 hours in conditions that would, honestly, instantly vaporize any unprotected human. Venera 13 touched down on March 1, 1982, followed by Venera 14 on March 5, creating an unprecedented dual mission that, revolutionized our understanding of Venus. The color images stunned the world, revealing a rust-colored landscape under an amber sky, with flat volcanic rocks and fine-grained soil stretching to the horizon. But the real breakthrough came from Venera 13's microphone, which captured the actual sounds of Venus, wind howling through the dense atmosphere, and the mechanical operations of the lander itself. These were humanity's first audio recordings from another planet, transforming Venus from a silent, distant world into a place where you could literally hear the alien environment. Both missions conducted advanced soil analysis using X-ray fluorescence spectrometers, revealing that Venus's surface composition resembled Earth's oceanic basalt, suggesting similar geological processes despite radically different evolutionary paths. Venera 13 operated for 127 minutes while Venera 14 functioned for 57 minutes, both far exceeding their designed lifespans. These pinnacle missions marked the golden age of Soviet planetary exploration, proving that with enough determination and engineering excellence, humans could not just visit other worlds, they could see, hear, and analyze them in extraordinary detail. Balloon missions and program end. The final act of Soviet Venus dominance came not from the surface, but from floating through the planet's hellish atmosphere. Vega 1 and Vega 2 released revolutionary weather balloons in June 1985, creating the first and only atmospheric observatories to drift through another planet's skies. These innovative missions, represented a completely different approach to Venus exploration, as the Soviet Academy of Sciences realized that long-term atmospheric monitoring could reveal secrets impossible to detect from brief surface landings. Each Vega balloon floated at 54 kilometers altitude for 46 hours, carried by Venus's fierce 100-meter-per-second winds while transmitting atmospheric data and tracking the planet's mysterious circulation patterns. The balloons revealed that Venus's middle atmosphere was far more dynamic than expected, with powerful convection currents and chemical reactions creating a constantly shifting environment. Chief designer Vyacheslav Kovtunenko had designed these balloons to survive pressures 75 times greater than Earth's surface, while maintaining radio contact across millions of miles. But even as the Vega missions achieved this atmospheric triumph, the Soviet Venus program was quietly ending. Economic pressures, the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, and shifting political priorities under Mikhail Gorbachev forced the cancellation of future Venus missions. The Venera program officially concluded after Vega 2 completed its dual mission to Halley's Comet in March 1986. After 25 years of relentless innovation and 16 successful missions, the Soviets had conquered Venus completely, landing on its surface, photographing its landscapes, recording its sounds, and even floating through its atmosphere. No other nation has matched this planetary exploration legacy. American and Japanese missions. While the Soviet Union dominated Venus for decades, other nations finally entered the game with radically different approaches. NASA's Magellan arrived in 1990, armed with revolutionary radar technology that stripped away Venus's cloud cover and revealed the planet's hidden surface in unprecedented detail. This wasn't just another space mission, it was a complete reimagining of how to explore Venus. Instead of crash-landing probes for brief surface glimpses, Magellan spent 4 years in orbit, methodically mapping 98% of Venus's surface using synthetic aperture radar that penetrated the dense atmosphere like X-rays through fog. The American approach revealed massive volcanic features, impact craters, and tectonic activity that Soviet surface missions had only hinted at. Magellan's radar maps showed that Venus was geologically young, with most of its surface less than 800 million years old, suggesting catastrophic planetary resurfacing events that completely transformed the world. Japan's Akatsuki mission launched in 2010, focusing on atmospheric dynamics and climate evolution using infrared cameras and radio science. These orbital missions complemented rather than competed with Soviet achievements, proving that Venus exploration required multiple strategies. While the Soviets mastered surface operations and atmospheric probes, American and Japanese missions excelled at global mapping and long-term atmospheric monitoring. Akatsuki discovered mysterious atmospheric gravity waves and confirmed that Venus's rotation is actually slowing down, adding new mysteries to the planet's already complex story. Together, these international efforts created the most complete picture of Venus ever assembled, building on the foundation that Soviet engineers had courageously established decades earlier. Mysterious discoveries. Strange signals and unexplained phenomena have haunted Venus exploration since the very first missions. But the most intriguing mystery emerged when Soviet scientists detected phosphine gas in Venus's atmosphere during Venera missions in the 1970s and 80s, a discovery that wouldn't make headlines until September 2020, when Earth-based telescopes confirmed its presence in the planet's cloud layers. Phosphine on Earth is almost exclusively produced by living organisms, making its detection on Venus one of the most tantalizing hints of possible extraterrestrial life in our solar system. The mystery deepened when researchers reanalyzed decades-old Venera data and found additional anomalies, unusual chemical signatures in the atmosphere's middle layers, unexplained temperature variations, and electromagnetic readings that didn't match theoretical models. Soviet atmospheric probes had detected these anomalies but dismissed them as instrumental errors or contamination. Modern analysis suggests these readings might have been humanity's first indirect contact with Venusian chemistry that defies conventional understanding. Even more puzzling are the dark patches visible in Venus's ultraviolet images, mysterious features that appear and disappear in the planet's upper atmosphere. These patches absorb UV radiation in ways that sulfuric acid clouds cannot explain, leading some scientists to speculate about aerial microorganisms surviving in Venus's more temperate atmospheric zones. NASA's recent interest in returning to Venus stems partly from these unresolved mysteries that Soviet missions first detected but couldn't fully investigate. The phosphine controversy continues to divide the scientific community, with some arguing for biological origins while others propose exotic chemistry or geological processes that Earth has never experienced. Journey to Venus simulation. The ultimate Venus mystery isn't what we found there. It's what we could become if Earth follows the same path. Modern climate scientists use Soviet Venera data as a terrifying roadmap for Earth's potential future, studying how a planet with oceans, moderate temperatures, and possibly even life transformed into the hellish world we know today. Computer models built from Venera atmospheric readings suggest that Venus experienced a runaway greenhouse effect approximately 4 billion years ago, when solar radiation gradually increased and water vapor trapped more heat, eventually boiling away the planet's oceans forever. NASA's Goddard Institute uses Venera temperature and pressure data to simulate how Venus's climate spiraled out of control, providing crucial insights for understanding Earth's own climate sensitivity. The Soviet atmospheric measurements from the 1970s and 80s remain the foundation for these models, proving that those brave missions weren't just exploration, they were prophecy. Venus's current state represents Earth's potential fate if greenhouse gas concentrations continue rising unchecked. But the story doesn't end with doom and gloom. Future missions planned by NASA, ESA, and Roscosmos will build directly on Soviet achievements, using advanced rovers, atmospheric laboratories, and sample return missions to unlock Venus's remaining secrets. The Soviets proved that Venus could be conquered. Now humanity must decide whether to learn from its lessons or repeat its mistakes. Every Venera mission was ultimately a journey through time, showing us both our planet's possible past and its potential future, written in sulfuric acid clouds and molten rock. The Soviet Union's journey to Venus proved that humanity can conquer even the most hostile worlds through determination and brilliant engineering. From Venera 1's first attempt in 1961 to the final Vega balloon missions in 1985, these pioneers gave us our first glimpse of another planet's surface, and unlocked secrets that still guide climate science today. Venus remains our most important teacher about planetary evolution and Earth's potential future. What other cosmic mysteries do you think we should explore next? Don't forget to subscribe to Simply Science, hit that bell icon for notifications, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your curiosity drives our next adventure into the universe's greatest secrets. A Harvard scientist is sounding the alarm. An interstellar visitor, 3I ATLAS, is shedding metallic alloys that just shouldn't exist. Real data from our best telescopes shows atomized nickel streaming from its core, but with practically zero iron. A chemical fingerprint that really, honestly, defies everything we know. Harvard's Avi Loeb is asking the question no one else wants to: if these metals aren't natural, what does that mean? The answer could upend our place in the universe, so let's explore this together. The discovery of 3I ATLAS. What would you do if you saw something moving at 130,000 miles per hour that wasn't supposed to be there? On July 1, 2025, the ATLAS survey team in Chile spotted a faint, fast-moving speck. The math instantly told a story that didn't fit any known playbook. Its path wasn't just a long loop, it was hyperbolic, with an extreme eccentricity that confirmed it was a visitor from deep space, moving too fast for the sun to ever capture it. This wasn't a comet on a return trip. Astronomers combed through archival data and found earlier images firming up its trajectory. The object was born far beyond our solar system, possibly somewhere near the galactic center. By the time it was discovered, it was already inside Jupiter's orbit, making a one-time slingshot around our sun before it shoots back into the void. Its incredible velocity confirmed it. 3I ATLAS is only the third confirmed interstellar object ever seen, a messenger from another star that will never return. This isn't just a rock, it's a clue from an unknown part of the galaxy. The nickel mystery. Here's where the story takes a sharp turn into the unknown. Almost as soon as telescopes focused on 3I ATLAS, they saw something that shouldn't be there. Data from the Very Large Telescope in Chile revealed a strong spectral line for nickel, a cloud of it vaporizing off the object's core. But what was missing is what has scientists stunned. There was virtually no iron. That's not just unusual, it's unheard of. In every comet, asteroid, and meteorite we have ever studied, Nickel and iron are cosmic partners. They are forged together in the hearts of dying stars and locked into the same minerals. You don't find one without the other. Yet 3I Atlas is shedding pure nickel vapor, with iron being conspicuously absent. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, known for his bold theories, was the first to publicly highlight how bizarre this is. He argues that separating nickel from iron on an industrial scale is difficult on Earth. In nature, it's considered next to impossible. This isn't just a small anomaly. The nickel-to-iron ratio in typical solar system objects is well established. On 3I Atlas, that ratio is completely off the charts. It's a chemical fingerprint that matches nothing we have ever seen. Carbon dioxide dominance. Just when the nickel-iron problem had scientists scrambling, the James Webb Space Telescope delivered another bombshell. Pointing its powerful infrared instruments at 3I Atlas, a team of astronomers analyzed the gases in its coma and found that carbon dioxide was completely dominating the mix. The measured carbon dioxide to water ratio was a staggering 8-to-1, the highest ever recorded for any comet, whether from our solar system or beyond. To put that in perspective, typical solar system comets have CO2 levels around 4% of their water content. Here, CO2 is the main ingredient. This wasn't a fluke. The readings remained consistent across multiple observation sessions as the object neared the Sun. While other gases like carbon monoxide were present, nothing came close to the CO2 spike. This kind of chemistry just doesn't align with our models of comet formation. Some researchers propose that its unique composition is the result of being cooked by cosmic rays over a billion-year journey. Others wonder if it's a clue to the specific conditions of its home star system. But the question remains, does this unprecedented chemistry point to nature at its most extreme, or is it another sign that something else is at play? The Oumuamua precedent. This isn't the first time an interstellar visitor has, broken all the rules. Back in 2017, the first ever confirmed interstellar object named Oumuamua left astronomers scratching their heads. It was traveling at high speed, had a bizarre, highly elongated shape, and most mysteriously, it accelerated away from the Sun without any visible reason. Comets accelerate due to outgassing, where melting ice acts like a thruster, but Oumuamua had no visible tail or coma. This is where Harvard's Avi Loeb first entered the public debate. He controversially suggested that the best explanation for Oumuamua's non-gravitational acceleration was that it was an artificial object, perhaps an alien solar sail designed to ride the pressure of starlight. While most of the scientific community proposed natural explanations like outgassing of hydrogen ice or its composition as a nitrogen iceberg, none of the theories perfectly fit all the observations. Oumuamua left our solar system before we could get a better look, leaving a legacy of unanswered questions. Its appearance primed the scientific community to expect the unexpected. Now, with 3I Atlas, we have a second data point that honestly defies easy explanation. Ancient sky metal. Humanity's fascination with metals that fall from the sky is not new. It's ancient. Over 5,000 years ago, in ancient Egypt, craftsmen hammered tiny beads from a mysterious iron that they didn't mine from the earth. Modern analysis of these beads from the Gertze cemetery reveals a nickel content of nearly 30%, far higher than any terrestrial ore. This was the unmistakable signature of meteoritic iron. The story gets even more incredible with the dagger found in the tomb of King Tutankhamun. Discovered in 1925, the pristine iron blade was a mystery for decades. Finally, X-ray analysis confirmed its celestial origin. The blade contained 11% nickel and traces of cobalt, a composition that matched iron meteorites. The Egyptians even had a name for this divine material, iron of the sky. It was rarer and more valuable than gold, reserved for pharaohs. This history matters because it establishes a fundamental contrast. Terrestrial iron ores almost never exceed 4% nickel. Meteoritic iron, however, is rich in it. The same questions our ancestors faced, what is this strange metal and where did it come from, are echoing today as we analyze the impossible alloys of 3I Atlas. Kilonova formation theory. So, if the metals on 3I Atlas are natural, how could they have formed? There are a couple of cosmic forges violent enough to potentially create such exotic materials. The first is a kilonova, the cataclysmic explosion that occurs when two neutron stars collide. These events are among the most powerful in the universe, and for a few brief seconds, they create conditions perfect for the R process, a rapid-fire sequence of neutron captures that forges elements heavier than iron. In the chaos of a kilonova, the normal rules of element production can be broken. Some theoretical models predict that the debris cloud from such a merger wouldn't be uniform. Instead, it could contain pockets of matter with strange elemental imbalances, regions that are incredibly rich in elements like nickel but poor in iron. If 3I Atlas condensed from one of these exotic debris patches millions of years ago, it would carry a chemical signature unlike anything from a standard supernova or our own solar system's formation. This theory provides a potential natural explanation, but it relies on an event that is both incredibly rare and violent. Asymmetric supernova theory. There is another natural forge in the cosmos, violent enough to potentially explain 3I Atlas's strange chemistry, an asymmetric supernova. Not all stars die in neat spherical explosions. Some rip themselves apart in lopsided blasts that fling elements out in jets. The supernova remnant W49b is a perfect example. X-ray maps of W49b from the Chandra Observatory show that iron is packed tightly near the remnant's core, while other elements like sulfur and silicon are distributed more broadly. This kind of uneven explosion, well, it completely changes the rules of how metals are scattered into space. In these chaotic events, the inner layers of the star, where iron and nickel are made, don't mix evenly. Instead, high-speed plumes can punch through the star's outer layers, carrying specific elements with them. If nickel happens to be concentrated in the path of one of these jets, it can be ejected in bulk, leaving most of the iron trapped behind. If 3I Atlas formed from a fragment blasted out by such a supernova, it could have started its journey as a chunk of nearly pure nickel. This provides a second plausible, though very rare, natural path to its bizarre composition. Statistical improbability. Beyond its strange chemistry, there's another red flag that has Avi Loeb and others asking, some serious questions: the object's trajectory. According to Loeb, the probability of a random interstellar object passing so close to several planets in our solar system, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, in a single flyby is, well, astronomically low. His calculations put the odds at about 1 in 20,000 or 0.005%. For an event this rare to happen with only the third interstellar object we've ever detected is, to him, statistically suspect. Furthermore, the object's path is nearly aligned with the plane of our solar system, but it's moving in the opposite direction of the planets. This retrograde orbit allows it to sweep past the inner worlds in a way that looks almost like a survey mission. To add to the suspicion, 3I Atlas reaches its closest point to the Sun on the far side from Earth, making it incredibly difficult for us to observe when it's most active. Critics argue that in a vast universe, rare events are bound to happen. But Loeb counters that when multiple anomalies, the metals, the chemistry, and the trajectory, all point in the same strange direction, the possibility of an artificial origin must be taken seriously. The Golden Record Parallel. Could 3I Atlas be a message in a bottle? In 1977, NASA launched the Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft, each carrying a golden record. This was a project led by Carl Sagan, intended as a time capsule for any extraterrestrial civilization that might find it thousands of years from now. The records contain sounds and images of Earth, music from various cultures, and scientific diagrams, a snapshot of humanity etched onto a durable physical object. Sagan said, "The launching of this bottle into the cosmic ocean says something very hopeful about life on this planet." Now consider 3I Atlas, an object loaded with alloys and compounds that don't fit natural recipes, on a trajectory that seems too precise. The parallel is honestly striking. What if its message isn't written in grooves on a record, but in the very ratios of its elements? A physical archive designed to survive a journey of millions of years. If its composition is intentional, then 3I Atlas isn't just a visitor, it's a courier carrying a record of another world's chemistry, and maybe even its technology. Atomic messages. If 3I Atlas is a message, how could it be written? The answer might lie in isotopic encoding. Isotopes are versions of an element with different numbers of neutrons. On Earth, scientists can already store information at the molecular level by creating unique isotopic fingerprints. By precisely controlling the ratios of different isotopes in a material, you can create a pattern, a kind of atomic QR code that would never occur in nature. an advanced civilization could theoretically bake a message into a metallic object, making it durable enough to survive a journey of millions of years through interstellar space. Such a message would be immune to the cosmic noise that can degrade radio signals. The information would be in the fine print of the object's chemistry. This is why every scrap of data from 3I ATLAS is being scoured for these hidden patterns. Are the isotope ratios what we'd expect from a kilonova, or do they show a level of order that points to intelligent design? We're not just looking for a rock anymore, we're looking for a signal hidden in matter itself, a message that has waited eons to be read. The story of 3I ATLAS leaves us at a profound crossroads. On one hand, we may be witnessing an undiscovered, violent natural process, a kilonova or an asymmetric supernova capable of creating alloys we once thought impossible. On the other hand, the combination of inexplicable metals, extreme chemistry, and a statistically improbable trajectory has forced serious scientists like Avi Loeb to consider an engineered origin. This isn't just a theoretical debate, it's a real object with real data that is breaking our models of the universe. Either way, our understanding has to expand. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into cosmic mysteries. Thanks for watching Simply Science. Picture this, you are sitting with a former president who leans over and whispers, "Want to see the UFO? Can you keep a secret?" This isn't science fiction. It's actually the reality of government UFO secrecy that has captivated researchers for decades. From crashed vessels with mysterious biological entities allegedly stored on ice, to Navy pilots witnessing impossible flight maneuvers, the evidence is, well, really starting to pile up. Today we're going to explore the explosive claims about government cover-ups, and what whistleblowers are revealing about humanity's potential contact with non-human intelligence. The presidential question. Could even the most powerful person on Earth be kept in the dark about humanity's greatest secret? Joe Rogan recently discussed how intelligence agencies might deliberately withhold UFO information from sitting presidents, treating extraterrestrial evidence as compartmentalized above even presidential clearance levels. This raises some profound questions about who really controls access to cosmic secrets, and whether elected officials can access the most classified programs. The theory suggests that career intelligence officers maintain institutional knowledge across multiple administrations, keeping UFO programs hidden from temporary political appointees who might leak sensitive information. Rogan speculates that presidents receive limited briefings designed to provide plausible deniability while protecting deeper secrets from public exposure. The compartmentalization extends so deep that even high-ranking military officials remain unaware of crash retrieval operations happening within their own organizations. This system ensures that no single person, including the president, possesses complete knowledge about government UFO activities. The implications are staggering. If true, it means an unelected shadow government controls humanity's most significant discovery. Intelligence whistleblowers have suggested that certain programs operate under special access protocols that exclude even congressional oversight committees. Former CIA Director John Brennan has acknowledged that some intelligence programs remain classified beyond normal governmental review processes, lending credibility to claims about hidden UFO operations. The whistleblower claims. The most explosive UFO revelations have come from government insiders willing to risk their careers for disclosure. David Grush, a former Air Force intelligence officer, made headlines in 2023 when he testified before Congress about a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. Grush claims the US government possesses multiple spacecraft of non-human origin, along with what he describes as non-human biologics recovered from crash sites. These alleged biological materials are reportedly stored in secure facilities, sometimes referred to colloquially as being on ice. Carl Nell, a retired Army colonel who worked alongside Grush on the UFO task force, has publicly supported these claims, calling Grush beyond reproach. However, verification remains challenging since much evidence is classified and inaccessible to public scrutiny. Critics argue that without physical proof, these testimonies remain speculative regardless of the witnesses' credibility. Leslie Keane and Ralph Blumenthal, investigative journalists who first reported Grush's claims, emphasize that multiple intelligence sources corroborate aspects of his testimony. The challenge lies in distinguishing between legitimate whistleblowing and unverifiable speculation, making these claims simultaneously compelling and controversial. The visitor hypothesis. Scientists and researchers have proposed various theories about why advanced extraterrestrial civilizations might visit Earth. The prevailing hypothesis suggests that humanity represents a fascinating case study, a young, rapidly evolving technological civilization that has only recently developed nuclear weapons and space travel capabilities. Earth could be viewed as a cosmic Wild West, where unpredictable developments make continuous observation necessary. Dr. Avi Loeb from Harvard University has theorized that advanced civilizations might conduct reconnaissance missions to assess potential threats or opportunities. These visitors would likely maintain distance and secrecy to avoid influencing human development, following what researchers call the zoo hypothesis or prime directive scenario. Theoretical motivations include studying our technological progression, monitoring our environmental impact, or evaluating our potential for interstellar expansion. Some researchers suggest that extraterrestrial observers might be particularly interested in humanity's nuclear capabilities, given the frequency of UFO sightings near military installations and nuclear facilities. The dark forest theory, popularized in science fiction, proposes that advanced civilizations remain hidden to avoid potential conflicts with other species. If true, any extraterrestrial visitors would prioritize stealth and minimal interference while gathering intelligence about human civilization and its trajectory. Ryan Graves, the Navy witness. Among the most credible UFO witnesses to emerge in recent years is Ryan Graves, a former United States Navy FA-18 Super Hornet pilot with over a decade of military service. Graves gained national attention for his detailed testimony about multiple UFO encounters along the East Coast between 2014 and 2015. His military background and combat experience provide significant credibility to his accounts, making him, one of the most trusted voices in contemporary UFO disclosure. Graves has testified before Congress and appeared on numerous media platforms, consistently maintaining that unidentified objects displayed flight characteristics far exceeding any known human technology. His willingness to speak publicly, despite potential career implications, really demonstrates the seriousness of his concerns about aviation safety and national security. Chris Cuomo and other journalists have interviewed Graves extensively, noting his measured professional approach to describing extraordinary encounters. Graves emphasizes that his motivation for going public stems from flight safety concerns rather than sensationalism. His testimony has been instrumental in legitimizing UFO discussions within military and government circles, helping remove the stigma traditionally associated with UFO reporting among military personnel. First contact: the radar upgrades. The modern era of military UFO encounters began with significant technological upgrades to Navy radar systems between 2013 and 2014. These enhancements involved installing active electronically scanned array radar systems on FA-18 fighter jets and naval vessels, dramatically improving their ability to detect small, fast-moving, or low-observable objects. Ryan Graves reported that these radar upgrades immediately began detecting unknown objects in military training areas off the Virginia Beach coast. At first, many encounters were dismissed as equipment malfunctions or calibration issues, since the new systems were more sensitive than previous technology. However, repeated detections of objects exhibiting unusual flight patterns forced military personnel to acknowledge they were observing actual phenomena. The upgraded radar could detect objects flying at various altitudes, from sea level to 30,000 feet, often moving in formations or displaying impossible acceleration capabilities. The war zone reported that pilots began noticing these objects almost daily once the new radar systems came online. This technological leap inadvertently lifted the curtain on UFO activity that had likely been occurring undetected for years, marking a turning point in military acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena in controlled airspace. Visual confirmation. The transition from radar contacts to visual confirmation marked a crucial evolution in military UFO encounters. After months of detecting unknown objects on upgraded radar systems, Navy pilots began achieving visual contact and recording evidence using forward-looking infrared cameras. These infrared systems captured objects with distinctive heat signatures, proving they were physical entities rather than electronic anomalies or sensor malfunctions. Chad Underwood, another Navy pilot, recorded the famous FLIR 1 video in 2004, showing an object hovering between 15,000 and 24,000 feet without visible propulsion. David Fravor, commanding officer of the Black Aces fighter squadron, made visual confirmation of a white 40-foot-long, tic-tac-shaped object during a training exercise. These visual encounters involved objects displaying rapid maneuvering capabilities, stationary hovering despite strong winds, and sudden acceleration to hypersonic speeds without creating sonic booms. The combination of radar detection and visual or infrared confirmation eliminated possibilities of equipment malfunction or misidentification. Pentagon officials eventually released several of these flyer videos to the public, acknowledging their authenticity while admitting they cannot explain the object's origins or capabilities. These confirmations transformed UFO discussions from speculation to documented phenomena, requiring serious scientific and military investigation. Flight characteristics. The flight characteristics displayed by these unidentified objects, well, they consistently defied known principles of aerospace engineering and physics. Ryan Graves reported objects hovering motionless for extended periods, even in 70-knot winds, and then instantly accelerating to several hundred knots without any visible means of propulsion. Navy pilots documented objects performing what they called racetrack patterns, flying in precise rectangular or oval formations for hours at altitudes ranging from sea level all the way up to 30,000 feet. David Fravor described watching objects drop from 80,000 feet to 20,000 feet in just seconds, showing acceleration capabilities that would generate G-forces fatal to any biological pilot. The objects showed no heat signatures from conventional engines, exhaust plumes, or rotor wash, like you'd expect from aircraft or helicopters. Pentagon reports indicate some objects actually remained airborne for 12 hours or more, which is way beyond the endurance capabilities of any known aircraft. Most puzzling of all was their ability to perform impossible maneuvers, stopping instantaneously, changing direction at really acute angles, and accelerating without the gradual speed buildup that conventional physics requires. These flight characteristics, honestly, suggest propulsion systems operating on principles way beyond our current human understanding, involving technologies that could completely revolutionize aerospace engineering if we could ever replicate or understand them. The close encounter. One of the most dramatic incidents occurred when a UFO flew directly between two Navy FA-18 Super Hornets during a training mission off the Virginia Beach coast. Ryan Graves described this encounter as a reality check moment for his entire squadron, as the object passed within extremely close proximity to both aircraft, creating a dangerous near-collision scenario. The pilots described the object as a dark gray or black cube inside a clear sphere, unlike any known aircraft configuration. Despite the severity of the incident and obvious flight safety implications, no official report was initially filed due to the stigma surrounding UFO encounters in military circles. Graves emphasized that this close encounter represented a critical aviation safety issue, regardless of the object's origin or nature. The incident occurred approximately 10 miles off the coast during routine training exercises, highlighting how these objects operate within active military training areas. Witnesses described the object's movement as deliberate and controlled rather than random, suggesting intelligence behind its actions. This encounter prompted Graves to begin speaking publicly about UFO encounters, emphasizing that aviation safety must take precedence over potential embarrassment or career concerns in reporting such incidents. Ocean theories and underwater bases. A significant pattern in UFO sightings involves their frequent appearance near coastlines and over oceanic areas, leading to theories about underwater bases or submerged craft. The Hudson Valley region has been a UFO hotspot for decades, with numerous sightings occurring near the Hudson River and Atlantic coastline. Jeremy Corbell, co-host of The Weaponized, documented incidents where UFOs were observed emerging from the Pacific Ocean near California, suggesting these objects possess transmedium capabilities, the ability to operate seamlessly in both air and underwater environments. Navy sailors aboard the USS Jackson reported watching 4 unidentified aircraft rise from the ocean before coordinating their movements and departing in formation. Researchers theorize that approximately 80% of Earth's ocean floor remains unexplored, providing vast areas where advanced craft could operate undetected. The deep ocean offers natural concealment from human observation and radar detection, making it an ideal location for hypothetical alien bases or underwater facilities. Fox News reported that these ocean-based UFOs display the same advanced propulsion characteristics observed in aerial encounters, including rapid acceleration and impossible maneuverability. This aquatic connection suggests that UFO phenomena may involve more than just atmospheric visitations, potentially indicating permanent or semi-permanent presence in Earth's oceans. The Michio Kaku analysis. Dr. Michio Kaku, a renowned theoretical physicist and futurist, has provided scientific perspective on UFO phenomena and alleged recovered materials from crash sites. While acknowledging that some UFO recovery stories may be fictional or exaggerated, Kaku emphasizes the importance of maintaining scientific openness to revolutionary discoveries. He has discussed the possibility that advanced extraterrestrial civilizations could possess technologies involving artificial intelligence integration, quantum propulsion systems, and material science beyond human comprehension. Kaku suggests that if governments have indeed recovered alien technology, the implications would be staggering for human technological development and our understanding of physics. He has noted that advanced civilizations might use automated probes or AI-controlled spacecraft for exploration, reducing risks to biological entities while gathering comprehensive data about encountered worlds. The physicist emphasizes that humanity must expand its scientific paradigms to accommodate possibilities that currently seem impossible, including faster-than-light travel, dimensional manipulation, and consciousness-based technologies. Kaku's analysis underscores broader questions about humanity's place in the cosmos and whether we are prepared for contact with vastly superior intelligence. He advocates for continued scientific investigation while maintaining healthy skepticism, recognizing that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence but shouldn't be dismissed without proper examination. From presidential secrets to Navy pilot testimonies, the evidence suggests we're living through a pivotal moment in human history regarding potential extraterrestrial contact. Whether these phenomena represent advanced human technology, natural atmospheric anomalies, or something truly otherworldly, the implications are staggering. The growing transparency from military witnesses and government officials indicates that the truth about UFO encounters may finally be emerging from decades of secrecy. Stay connected to Simply Science for the latest developments in this unfolding cosmic mystery. Like, share, and subscribe.